Listen, I need you to hear this. You sitting there right now, comfortable, scrolling, looking for some magic words that's going to change your life. But let me tell you something. The change don't come from me. The change comes when you decide that enough is enough. When you decide that the pain of staying the same hurts worse than the pain of changing. You want to know what separates the ones who make it from the ones who don't. It ain't talent, it ain't luck, it ain't who your daddy is or where you came from. It's the ability to look at pain dead in the face and say, bring it. More, give me more. Because I know that pain is the price I got to pay to become who I'm supposed to be. Most people run from pain. Soon as it gets hard, soon as it starts to burn, soon as they feel that discomfort creeping in, they quit. They tap out. They say this ain't for me. And you know what? They right. It ain't for them because they weak. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying that because it's the truth. And sometimes the truth hurts worse than anything else. You've been training, you've been putting in work, or you've been talking about it. Because there's a whole lot of people out here talking about what they're gonna do, talking about their plans, talking about their dreams. But when it's time to actually get in there and do the work, where are they at? They sleeping, they comfortable, they making excuses. Let me tell you something about training. Real training hurts. It's supposed to hurt. If it don't hurt, you ain't doing it right. You're supposed to feel that burn. You're supposed to feel your muscles screaming at you to stop. You're supposed to feel like you can't go no further. And right there, right at that exact moment when your body is telling you to quit, that's when the real training begins. That's when you find out what you're made of. See, your body is gonna quit before your mind does. Your body is weak. Your body wants comfort. Your body wants to sit on the couch and eat junk food and watch TV. But your mind, if you train it right, your mind is a weapon. Your mind can push your body past limits you didn't even know existed. Your mind can make you keep going when every fiber of your being is screaming stop. But you gotta make a choice. You gotta choose every single day to be uncomfortable. You gotta choose to do the things that hurt. You gotta choose to wake up when you wanna sleep. You gotta choose to train when you wanna rest. You gotta choose to push when you wanna quit. And ain't nobody gonna make that choice for you. That's on you. I'm tired of seeing people give up on themselves. I'm tired of seeing people settle for less than what they're capable of. You know what you can be. Deep down inside, you know. You've seen glimpses of it. You've felt moments where you were operating at a higher level, but you let fear creep in. You let doubt creep in. You let other people's opinions creep in. And you stopped. You slowed down. You settled. And now you're sitting here looking for motivation. You're looking for someone to pump you up. You're looking for some inspirational quote that's going to change everything. But let me tell you the real truth. Motivation is garbage. Motivation is fleeting. Motivation is here today and gone tomorrow. You know what you need? You need discipline. You need the ability to do what needs to be done whether you feel like it or not. When you wake up in the morning and it's cold and it's dark and your bed is warm and comfortable, discipline gets you up, not motivation. When you're supposed to train and your body is sore and you're tired and you had a long day, discipline gets you to the gym, not motivation. When you want to quit, when you want to give up, when you want to throw in the towel, discipline keeps you going, not motivation. So stop waiting to feel motivated. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop waiting for conditions to be just right. They're never going to be just right. There's always going to be an excuse. There's always going to be a reason to wait. There's always going to be something that seems more important or more urgent or more comfortable. But you gotta push through that. You gotta train till it hurts. And then when it hurts, you gotta train some more. You gotta get to the point where the pain don't even bother you no more. Where the pain is just part of the process. Where the pain is expected. Where the pain is welcomed. Because you understand that on the other side of that pain is growth. On the other side of that pain is strength. On the other side of that pain is the person you've been trying to become. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you really pushed yourself? When was the last time you went past your comfort zone? When was the last time you did something that scared you? When was the last time you trained so hard that you thought you might throw up? When was the last time you pushed your body to the absolute limit? If you can't remember, then you ain't training right. You're just going through the motions. You're just showing up. And showing up ain't enough. You see people in the gym all the time just going through the motions. They on the treadmill at a comfortable pace watching TV. They doing their little exercises with light weights, having conversations with their friends. They taking long breaks between sets, checking their phones. And then they wonder why they ain't seeing results. They wonder why they ain't changing. They wonder why they still look the same, feel the same, are the same. You want to know why? Because they ain't training, they just occupying space. Real training is intense. Real training is focused. Real training is you against you, pushing yourself past what you did yesterday. Real training is mental, just as much as it's physical. Real training is about breaking yourself down so you can build yourself back up stronger. And here's the thing about pain. Pain is information. Pain tells you where you at. Pain tells you what you need to work on. Pain tells you what's weak. Pain tells you what needs attention. But most people don't listen to pain. They just try to avoid it. They pop pills to numb it. They take days off to escape it. They quit before it even really starts. And then they miss out on all the lessons pain was trying to teach them. You gotta learn to enjoy the pain. I know that sounds crazy. I know that sounds backwards. But it's the truth. You gotta get to a place where you actually enjoy the burn. Where you actually enjoy the struggle. Where you actually enjoy the fight. Because that's when you know you're alive. That's when you know you're growing. That's when you know you're becoming more than you were yesterday. Think about it like this. Every time you feel pain during training, that's your body adapting. That's your muscles breaking down so they can build back stronger. That's your cardiovascular system working harder so it can become more efficient. That's your mind learning to push through barriers. Pain is progress. Pain is growth. Pain is necessary. But society has made us soft. Society has told us to avoid pain at all costs. Society has told us that comfort is the goal. Society has told us that we should always feel good, always be happy, always be relaxed. And that's a lie. That's a lie designed to keep you weak. That's a lie designed to keep you dependent. That's a lie designed to keep you from reaching your full potential. The truth is, greatness requires pain. Success requires sacrifice. Growth requires discomfort. You can't have one without the other. You can't expect to achieve great things while living a comfortable life. You can't expect to transform yourself while staying in your comfort zone. You can't expect to become strong while avoiding anything that's hard. So, when you're training and it starts to hurt, smile. When your muscles are burning and you want to stop, keep going. When your lungs are screaming for air and you feel like you can't breathe, breathe deeper. When your mind is telling you to quit, tell it to shut up and push harder. Because that's when the magic happens. That's when the transformation occurs. That's when you level up. I see so many people who start strong. They got all this energy and excitement at the beginning. They going hard for a week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe even a month. But then it gets hard. Then it starts to hurt. Then they realize this ain't gonna be easy. And what do? They quit. They give up. They go back to their comfortable life. And then 6 months later, they're starting over again with the same excitement, the same energy, and the same pattern of quitting when it gets hard. You gotta break that cycle. You gotta commit to seeing it through. You gotta understand that the pain is part of the process. The pain is not a sign that something is wrong. The pain is a sign that something is right. The pain is a sign that you're pushing yourself. The pain is a sign that you're growing. The pain is a sign that you're on the right track. And let me tell you something else. pain you feel today is preparing you for battles you're going to face tomorrow. Life is going to test you. Life is going to knock you down. Life is going to throw obstacles in your way. And if you can't handle the pain of training, how are you going to handle the pain of life? If you quit when your muscles burn, you're going to quit when life gets hard. If you give up when you're tired, you're going to give up when challenges come. But if you train yourself to push through pain, to embrace discomfort, to keep going when everything in you wants to stop, then when life hits you, you're going to be ready. This ain't just about physical training. This is about mental training. This is about emotional training. This is about training yourself to be resilient, to be tough, to be unbreakable. Because the world don't care about your feelings. The world don't care if you're tired. The world don't care if you're scared. The world is going to keep coming at you regardless. So you better be ready. You better be strong. You better be trained. You know what separates a warrior from everyone else? A warrior has been through pain and come out the other side. A warrior has been broken and put themselves back together. A warrior has faced their fears and kept moving forward. A warrior has trained when they didn't want to. A warrior has pushed when they wanted to quit. A warrior has endured when others have fallen. And that warrior ain't born. That warrior is made through pain, made through struggle, made through training. So the question is, what are you? Are you a warrior, or are you just average? Are you willing to do what it takes, or are you going to make excuses? Are you going to train till it hurts, or are you going to quit when it gets uncomfortable? The answer to that question is going to determine everything about your life, everything about your future, everything about who you become. Stop looking for the easy way. There ain't no easy way. Stop looking for shortcuts. There ain't no shortcuts. Stop looking for hacks and tricks and secrets. There ain't none. There's only work. There's only training. There's only pain. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you embrace that, the sooner you start moving in the right direction. You want to know the secret to success? It's simple. Show up every day and do the work even when you don't want to. Train even when it hurts. Push even when you're tired. Keep going even when you want to quit. That's it. That's the whole secret. But most people can't do it. Most people won't do it. Most people will read these words and feel pumped up for about 5 minutes and then go right back to their old habits, their old patterns, their old comfortable life. Don't be most people. Be the person who actually does it. Be the person who shows up day after day. Be the person who trains when it hurts. Be the person who pushes past their limits. Be the person who refuses to quit. Be the person who embraces pain instead of running from it. Be the person who understands that discomfort is the price of growth. You got one life, one shot, one opportunity to see what you're capable of. You're going to waste it being comfortable. You're going to waste it avoiding pain. You're going to waste it making excuses. Or are you going to use it to push yourself to your absolute limit? Are you going to use it to discover how strong you really are? Are you going to use it to become the best version of yourself? Time is running out. Every day you wait is a day you can't get back. Every training session you skip is progress you'll never make up. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you're choosing to stay the same. And staying the same when you're capable of so much more is the real pain. That's the pain that lasts. That's the pain of regret. That's the pain of wondering what could have been. Don't let that be you. Don't get to the end of your life and look back with regret. Don't wonder what you could have accomplished if you had just pushed a little harder. Don't think about all the potential you wasted because you were too comfortable, too scared, too soft. Make the decision right now that you're going to train. You're going to push. You're going to embrace the pain. You're going to do whatever it takes. Because here's what happens when you do. Here's what happens when you commit to training till it hurts. You become stronger, not just physically, but mentally. You become tougher. You become more resilient. You become more confident. You become more disciplined. You become the type of person who can handle anything life throws at you. You become unstoppable. And that feeling, that transformation, that growth, it's worth every bit of pain you gotta go through to get there. It's worth every early morning. It's worth every sore muscle. It's worth every drop of sweat. It's worth every moment of doubt. It's worth every time you wanted to quit but didn't. Because on the other side of all that pain is a version of you that you can be proud of. A version of you that's strong. A version of you that's capable. A version of you that's everything you always knew you could be. But you gotta go get it. It ain't gonna come to you. You gotta train for it. You gotta work for it. You gotta hurt for it. You gotta earn it. And the beautiful thing is, you can. You absolutely can. You got everything you need inside you right now. You just gotta be willing to dig deep. You just gotta be willing to push past the pain. You just gotta be willing to keep going when everything in you says stop. So what's it going to be? You gonna keep making excuses? You gonna keep waiting for the right time? You gonna keep choosing comfort over growth? Or are you gonna get up right now and do something about it? Are you going to start training? Are you going to start pushing? Are you going to start embracing the pain? The choice is yours. It's always been yours. Nobody can make it for you. Nobody can do the work for you. Nobody can feel the pain for you. This is all on you. Your life, your future, your potential. It's all in your hands. What are you going to do with it? Train till it hurts, and when it hurts, train harder. Because that's where the growth is, that's where the strength is, that's where the transformation is. That's where you find out what you're really made of. That's where you become who you were meant to be. So stop talking about it and be about it. Stop thinking about it and start doing it. Stop waiting for tomorrow and start today. Right now. This moment. This is your time. Don't waste it. You know what the problem is with most people? They want the results without the process. They want the body without the workouts. They want the success without the grind. They want the trophy without the training. They want to be strong without ever feeling weak. They want to be great without ever being uncomfortable. And that ain't how it works. That's never been how it works. That will never be how it works. You see somebody with an incredible physique and you think they lucky. You think they got good genetics. You think it came easy for them. But you didn't see them in the gym at 5 in the morning when everyone else was sleeping. You didn't see them pushing through that last set when their muscles were screaming. You didn't see them meal prepping on Sunday when they could have been relaxing. You didn't see them saying no to all the junk food and the parties and the late nights. You didn't see the pain. You only see the results. And that's what you gotta understand. Everybody wants to see the results. Nobody wants to live through the process. But the process is where everything happens. The process is where you build character. The process is where you develop discipline. The process is where you forge your willpower. The process is where you become the type of person who deserves the results. Let me tell you about the process. The process is ugly. The process is painful. The process is long. The process is lonely. The process is full of doubt and fear and uncertainty. The process will test you every single day. The process will make you question if it's worth it. The process will give you 1,000 reasons to quit. And if you're weak, you will quit. You'll find a reason. You'll find an excuse. You'll justify it to yourself and move on. But if you're strong, if you're committed, if you understand what you're building, then the process becomes your friend. The process becomes your teacher. The process becomes your proving ground. Because every day you show up when you don't feel like it, you're proving to yourself that you're serious. Every day you push through the pain, you're building mental toughness. Every day you choose discipline over comfort, you're becoming the person you need to be to achieve your goals. And here's the thing about pain and training. It's honest. Pain don't lie to you. Pain don't care about your excuses. Pain don't care about your story. Pain just is. And when you learn to work with pain instead of against it, when you learn to use pain as a tool instead of seeing it as an enemy, that's when everything changes. Pain tells you when you're working hard enough. Pain tells you when you're pushing your limits. Pain tells you when you're in the growth zone. No pain means you're coasting. No pain means you're comfortable. No pain means you're not challenging yourself. And if you're not challenging yourself, you're not growing. And if you're not growing, you're dying. There's no middle ground. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. You're either moving forward or you're falling behind. So many people think they training hard. They think they putting in work. But they ain't. They doing what's comfortable. They doing what they can handle. They doing what don't hurt too bad. And then they wonder why nothing changes. They wonder why they not seeing progress. They wonder why they still the same person they were 6 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago. You want real change. You want real transformation. You gotta be willing to hurt for it. You gotta be willing to feel uncomfortable. You gotta be willing to push yourself into territory that scares you. You gotta be willing to fail. You gotta be willing to look stupid. You gotta be willing to do things you've never done before. Because if you keep doing what you've always done, you're going to keep getting what you've always gotten. And I need you to understand something. The pain of discipline is way better than the pain of regret. The pain you feel when you're training, when you're pushing yourself, when you're working towards your goals, that pain is temporary. That pain goes away. That pain turns into strength. But the pain of regret, the pain of knowing you could have been more, the pain of watching other people achieve what you were too scared to go after, that pain lasts forever. You lying in bed at night thinking about all the things you could have done, all the chances you didn't take, all the times you chose comfort over growth, all the moments you let fear stop you. That's a different kind of pain. That's the worst kind of pain, because it's a pain you chose. You chose to stay comfortable. You chose to play it safe. You chose to avoid the temporary pain of growth, and now you're stuck with the permanent pain of regret. Don't do that to yourself. Don't let fear of pain keep you from becoming who you're supposed to be. Don't let the discomfort of training keep you from achieving what you're capable of. Don't let the temporary hurt stop you from experiencing the permanent pride of knowing you gave it everything you had. You gotta fall in love with the process. You gotta fall in love with the grind. You gotta fall in love with the pain. Because once you do, once you make that shift in your mind, everything becomes easier. Not because the work gets easier, but because you get stronger. Not because the pain goes away, but because you learn to handle it better. Not because the challenges disappear, but because you become the type of person who can overcome them. Think about the strongest people you know. Think about the most successful people you've seen. Think about the people who've achieved great things. You think they did it by being comfortable? You think they did it by avoiding pain? You think they did it by taking the easy road? Hell no. They did it by embracing the hard stuff. They did it by running towards the challenges instead of away from them. They did it by training till it hurt and then training some more. And here's what they know that most people don't. They know that pain is temporary, but pride is forever. They know that the burn you feel in your muscles during a workout goes away, but the strength you build lasts. They know that the discomfort you feel when you push yourself past your limits fades, but the growth you experience stays with you. They know that every hard session, every painful rep, every uncomfortable moment is building something that nobody can ever take away from you. You building character, you building resilience, you building mental toughness, you building the kind of strength that goes way beyond physical. You building the ability to face any challenge life throws at you and say, bring it on. You building confidence that comes from knowing you can do hard things. You building a version of yourself that you can be proud of. But it requires pain. It requires discomfort. It requires you to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. It requires you to stop running from the hard stuff and start running towards it. It requires you to change your relationship with pain from something you avoid to something you seek out. Because here's the truth. Growth lives on the other side of pain. Everything you want, everything you're trying to become, everything you're capable of, it's all waiting for you on the other side of pain. But you gotta be willing to go through it to get there. You got to be willing to endure. You gotta be willing to suffer temporarily so you can succeed permanently. And when you're in that moment, when you're in the middle of the pain, when your body is screaming at you to stop, when your mind is telling you you can't do it, when everything in you wants to quit, that's when you got to remember why you started. That's when you got to remember what you're working towards. That's when you got to dig deeper than you ever dug before and find that extra gear that you didn't even know you had. Because you got it. Everybody got it. Everybody got that reserve tank that they can tap into when they need to. But most people never access it because they quit before they get there. They stop when it gets hard. They give up when it starts to hurt. They tap out before they ever discover what they're really capable of. Don't be like that. Don't be the person who quits when it gets hard. Don't be the person who stops when it starts to hurt. Don't be the person who gives up on themselves before they ever really tried. Be the person who keeps going. Be the person who pushes through. Be the person who finds out what they're really made of. And let me tell you what you're going to discover when you do. You're going to discover that you're stronger than you thought. You're going to discover that you're more capable than you believed. You're going to discover that you can handle way more than you ever gave yourself credit for. You're going to discover that the limits you thought you had were just limits you created in your mind. You're going to discover that when you really commit, when you really push, when you really give it everything, there's almost nothing you can't do. But you'll never know that if you keep choosing comfort. You'll never know that if you keep avoiding pain. You'll never know that if you keep making excuses. You only find out what you're capable of when you put yourself in situations that test you, when you challenge yourself, when you push yourself past what you think you can handle. That's why you gotta train till it hurts. That's why you gotta embrace the pain. That's why you gotta seek out discomfort instead of running from it. Because that's the only way you grow. That's the only way you get stronger. That's the only way you become more than you are right now. And every single day you got a choice. You can choose comfort or you can choose growth. You can choose easy or you can choose better. You can choose to stay the same or you can choose to change. But understand this, you can't have both. You can't be comfortable and grow at the same time. You can't take the easy path and become strong at the same time. You can't avoid pain and transform yourself at the same time. You gotta pick one, and whatever you pick, you're going to have to live with the consequences. If you pick comfort, you're going to live with regret. If you pick growth, you're going to live with pride. If you pick easy, you're going to live with weakness. If you pick better, you're going to live with strength. The choice is yours. It's always been yours. It always will be yours. So what's it going to be? You're going to keep doing what you've been doing? You're going to keep getting the same results? You're going to keep being the same person? Or you ready to change? You ready to grow? You ready to push yourself past your limits? You ready to train till it hurts? Because I'm telling you right now, the pain is worth it. The discomfort is worth it. The struggle is worth it. Everything you go through to become better is worth it. Every drop of sweat, every sore muscle, every early morning, every late night, every moment of doubt, every second of pain. It's all worth it. Because on the other side of all that is a version of you that's unstoppable, a version of you that's unbreakable, a version of you that can handle anything, and that version is worth fighting for. So get up, get moving, get training, stop reading, stop thinking, stop planning. Just do it, right now, today, this moment. Make the decision that you're done being comfortable. Make the decision that you're done playing small. Make the decision that you're ready to see what you're really capable of. and then go prove it to yourself. Train till it hurts, and when it hurts, enjoy it, because that pain is proof that you're alive. That pain is proof that you're growing. That pain is proof that you're becoming everything you were meant to be.